The red snapper's colors will deepen as it grows larger, easily recognized by its rosy red color. It can be found from New Jersey to Brazil, being abundant around Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. They can be caught still fishing or drifting over the bottom from 100 to 200 feet of water. Their food value is rated excellent at all sizes. They can be caught on most types of tackle, and they put up a hard fight by using a strong, head-shaking tactic, trying to dive to the bottom. This afternoon we're shooting this segment in sunny South Florida. We're going to show you how to clean a fish with the scales on. You'll notice through most of these segments we've already had the fish scaled and gutted. But we're going to show you that it can be done either way for the people that don't like to take the extra time in order to scale their fish first. And we're going to do a red snapper in this particular segment. Okay, now when you cut the head off of the snapper, you can do it in either way. There's a lot of good meat in this throat. We're going to cut the head off this snapper today by coming back in on an angle behind it, and we're going to remove this wing section, so to speak. But don't throw it away. If you want to later on, you can use it in a chowder, or you can take it and put it in a stew. But we're going to remove it today so we have 100% of the bones taken from this fillet. The first thing we want to do is turn our fish over, lift up this fin, come back on an angle, cut back on a V through that side of your fish. Then we're going to turn it over and just reverse the same motion back on the other side. As you can see, we've removed the head with the V, not wasting any meat, but we also have a lot of good edible fish here that we want to end up skinning off of here later if you want to use that meat. If not, use it for crab trap bait if you need to do it for that purpose. We turn our fish over. Since this one's been temporarily gutted, we just scrape out this extra little bit of insides. And the next process is to come back and I'll show you how to remove it. But you have to be very careful not to go real quick with the knife at this point, because if the knife should slip, you could accidentally cut yourself. As you can see, you got the scale still on. You want to start, come in right above your anal fin, work very slowly so not to cut yourself with the scales on. Turn it upward. Press down through that meat. Once you cut through, come back down up on the other side. Using that index finger as the guide. Turn your fish around. Now at this point with the scales off, it's going to be a little more difficult. Cut through. Try to stay real close to that dorsal fin. There's a fine edge between here which that knife will slip right between. If you notice, we got that. Press down with that left hand, keep rolling it back. Now you see we've got a fillet from that side. All we're going to have to do now is come back and take these rib bones out, the few bones that cut back in the other side, and skin it. Remove the other side of the fish, you turn it back over, apply pressure down with your left hand, down in above the anal fin. Hold the knife down on the fin and just pull up with the tail to remove that bone. The easiest way to cut the other side is to work from the edge of your board, right above the dorsal fin, between that little line of your fish scales. Take your time, apply pressure down with your left hand, use the curved part of your knife. As you can see, we're coming back into it just like we did earlier. You've seen the other segments with our flounder or our trout. Ride that blade right along your dorsal fin, into your backbone, over your vertebrae, the center of your vertebrae on your fish. Come back down, pull it through. Cut around. When you get a larger fish, turn your fish over and just tap. Cut those bones loose. You'll find it to be a little smoother. And then you'll have your two fillets finished. Okay, now we're ready to remove the rib bones. Take your fillet, flesh side up, turn your knife up, just come right between the bones and the flesh. Take that index finger again like I showed you earlier and stick it on top of the knife guard, and then just hold it with your left hand and gradually rub the knife right along the bones. You want to save as much meat as possible. Scrape it back, Flip it back over. Now take your knife flat, lay it down, feel your knife edge rubbing those bones. Then you reach back with your left hand, you hold it firmly. You take your thumb and your blade as if it were a pair of pliers and just pick it out. Come right back. Now at that point, we've removed all of our rib bones. Now we have the bones that run back down in the direction of the fish, the high side. Just like we were cutting back with our shad, the center bones, we come back on the other side, we reach up again, a hold with our left hand, use that thumb and knife as a pair of pliers, and pull that one right back. Release it. Now all your bones have been removed out of this half of the snapper. Now we've removed all the center bones and the rib cage bones, and our next step will be to skin the fillet. Now we're getting ready to skin this fillet. We're going to use this long, thin knife like we showed you on some of the other videos. You want to start, like I said again, hold firmly to the tip of the tail, start the knife, get it between the flesh and the skin in a seesaw motion. Once you get enough cut away, you just apply pressure downward, firmly, hold the skin, and just wiggle it back and forth. And you want to do it so that when you finish, you've removed it just as smooth as we have here. Okay, now we're going to take the rib bones out of the other half of the fillet. Just hold it, take the knife, run it between the two, turn your fillet around. Then again, like I said, always keep that index finger on your blade. Just rub between the bone and the flesh. And as you just take it, hold on to it firmly and peel it back. If you want to, just kind of scrape that meat a little bit. Lay it down, hold your knife flat. Use that thumb and that knife as a pair of pliers. Pull those right out. Turn it around again. Come back on the other side. Cut on both sides of the bone. Come back on the other side of the bone. Then again, you reach up, hold it with your left hand, pull it right on out. You removed all your bones, and now all we need to do is skin the fillet. Okay, once you have it, like I said again, you use this long, thin, flat-bladed knife. You want to hold the tip of the tail with your fingers, start underneath, and just make a seesaw motion. Once you get enough to hold on to, hold that tail meat, just push it right on through. A nice fillet without any bones in it. And here's your fillet with the skin, showing you that we didn't leave any meat there, so there's not any waste.